Adolescence isn't just the most acclaimed TV show of 2025. It's also the most impactful, and its greatest legacy may well be increased public awareness, as well as legislative changes around cyberbullying and children's access to incel forums. The show gets to the heart of debates about parental responsibility and toxic masculinity like nothing else before it. It's precisely because the theme of masculinity in adolescence is approached in a nuanced and sensitive manner that the miniseries cuts so deep. Nothing about Jamie Miller or his father is caricatured or bluntly moralistic. These characters are hyperrealistic, sympathetic, and, most shockingly of all, highly relatable. As a result, each of Adolescence's 4 episodes is a masterpiece of television, examining a side to society, and perhaps even to the human condition, that we haven't seen explored with this level of depth and understanding in a scripted series before. The show has touched a nerve, becoming a Netflix juggernaut, and being studied extensively across the globe. Social commentators, educators, and politicians alike have discussed its broader significance, whilst it's resonated with viewers of all ages in their millions. Adolescence has been discussed in parliaments and shown in schools around the world. But it isn't the first British TV release to have made this kind of social impact. 59 years ago, another small-screen drama achieved even more. Adolescence is such a powerful TV drama that it could change society. The true power of Adolescence's depiction of incel culture lies in the ordinary, unremarkable social circumstances it chooses for the setting of its story. Jamie Miller could be anyone's 14-year-old boy. He's so terrified when the police charge into his bedroom to arrest him on suspicion of murder that he wets the bed. On this basis, the series forces us to identify with a teenage killer whose ideas about women and young girls have been warped by a pernicious online culture that preys on his low self-esteem and fragile masculinity. At its best, the show is gut-wrenchingly tragic and emotionally overwhelming. The show's effect on viewers is what's prompted the British government to make screening it in school classrooms part of its education policy, via Associated Press. Schools in France have taken up a similar initiative, via The Guardian. In the longer term, the impact of Adolescence could be even further reaching in terms of social change. The 1966 British TV drama Cathy Come Home also had a huge social impact. It wouldn't be the first British television production to change society along these lines, either. Back in 1966, Ken Loach's Cathy Come Home also changed the way people looked at life. At the time, homelessness was a scourge of British society routinely swept under the carpet. Then, this TV movie about a homeless woman who has her children taken away from her aired on the BBC, Britain's main terrestrial television network, and was viewed by millions. Record numbers of people called into the BBC, offering to help those they saw in the film. Shot in Loach's signature close, handheld camera style, Cathy Come Home horrified audiences partly because it seemed more like a documentary than a scripted production. This hyperrealistic approach lent extra emotional resonance to the movie's weighty subject matter. Right up to her death, Cathy actor Carol White was approached in the street by sympathetic passers-by pressing money into her hand. The UK's 2 main housing charities owe much of their existence to Cathy Come Home. One of them, Crisis, was actually set up because of the huge public response to its initial TV broadcast. The other, Shelter, benefited enormously from launching a few days after the movie was released, via The Guardian. Cathy Come Home helped change the law on homelessness. That one of the best made-for-TV movies of all time had such an effect on public consciousness is unsurprising. However, Cathy Come Home had a massive political impact, too. It was instrumental in the implementation of Scotland's Social Work Act of 1968, which was intended to fund and empower community social care to prevent homelessness, via community care. More significantly, just over 10 years after the release of Cathy Come Home, the 1977 Housing, Homeless Persons, Act was passed in British Parliament, and came into effect across the UK. This act enshrined in law the first statutory definition of homelessness in British history, and made local authorities liable for those without homes, via University of Birmingham. It's worth noting that the act was still restrictive in its provisions for homeless people, didn't decriminalise rough sleeping, and was watered down by various parliamentary amendments. Nevertheless, that it was passed at all is testament to the power of Cathy Come Home. Adolescence may have a similar lasting impact in Britain and elsewhere. There's a good chance that we may see a second season of Adolescence on Netflix, broaching a different but similarly significant phenomenon among modern teenagers. Given the response to the show so far, Adolescence Season 2 could be a catalyst for further social change. As with Cathy Come Home, it may be years before we see the most substantial social effects of Jamie Miller's story, whether a permanent transformation in public attitudes to adolescent masculinity, or law changes to protect young people from incel culture. It's still telling, though, that conversations around the series have already reached the political sphere. What's more, the show is now being used as study material, both in the field of psychology and by teachers in school classrooms. It's proven itself to be a powerful tool for understanding the psychological makeup of young teenagers who are prone to violent misogyny, as well as the underlying social factors behind their psychological condition. Adolescence might be made primarily for an adult audience, but it's also a way of engaging high school students about the dangers of incel culture when all else appears to have failed. Because it's such an extraordinary work of art, the show emotes the issue more effectively than a simple dialogue between teachers and teenagers ever could.